Well, hello there. Yes, it's been a few months since I put out a video. Various things have gone on, but I'm back and I've got 3 guitar projects lined up. So I hope you're going to stay with me. Let's get on. Now, one of the projects is a commission build for some friends. I'm going to be building a guitar for a very talented young musician, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm going to do that in a separate video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the JurgsCup. Now then, got my t-shirt. It's a bit nippy here, so I haven't got it on today. But the JurgsCup is a guitar building challenge that the Guitar Builders Collective run every year, and it's in memory of Jurgen Zoller, one of our guitar building friends who was so supportive of the guitar building community and who died a few years ago. Now, we run the challenge in support of the leukemia charities that his family supports. So if you're interested in taking part, I'll put all the information below. All we ask is you either make a donation to the leukemia charity or buy one of these fantastic t-shirts, different colours, sweatshirts as well, and again I'll put a link to the store below, and it'll all go to a good cause and you'll have a lot of fun building a guitar. Now then, the current challenge, and it runs out in 2 weeks, so I'm a bit late to the game, is to build a hollow body guitar, and I'm going to attempt to build a hollow body Telecaster. Now, if you know my channel, you know my guitar building is a lot about making it up as you go along. Now then, I figure I can make a Telecaster. I made this one literally out of junk I found in the garden, and it sounds pretty good to me. So I figure if I can make it out of junk, I should be able to make a hollow body version. I've got myself a template, I've found some wood, and I've made myself a former to mould the ribs of the guitar. So let me show you. I need to make myself a former for the telly shape so that I can hold all the ribs together when I'm working on the guitar. So I've got this piece of old worktop, yeah, quite sort of thick, and I've marked out the shape of the guitar onto it. Now then, because the ribs are going to be about 5mm thick, I need to come in about 5mm and just draw another line. So yeah, I'm going to do this by eye, and it's just a bit of a time-consuming process, but I think it'll be worthwhile doing. So now I'm going to cut this down to size, leave a bit over the edge there, but cut it in half and then cut out these pieces, trying to retain the central piece as well as the outside piece. Now for the top, a couple of years ago I went to the Makers Show in Birmingham and found some spelted alder on the Surrey Timbers stand, so I grabbed that and I think it's going to make a really nice top. Well, okay, I've got 2 pieces from that, and they are just under 9mm thick, so they will plane down to about 5mm, which should be okay. And I've also got one piece here which is just about 6mm, and that will do for something on the headstock, I believe. Good, so we've made a start on that. Now these are going to bend like crazy, I know, because of the way the grain runs. So I'm going to try and just keep them flat for a while. Now, as soon as I saw this timber, I thought, oh, that's going to be marvellous for the top of a guitar. And I think once it's got some oil on it, it's really going to stand out. So that's really interesting. Now, I don't know what alder's like. It feels quite light, actually. And I'm sure somebody will tell me that this is not suitable for the top of a guitar. But I'm going to have a go. You know me. So that's really good. Now, I also picked up some panga panga, and I've used this to make a fretboard for my classical acoustic guitar. Now, panga panga has got quite a coarse grain, and you can get splinters from it, which of course makes it completely the wrong wood for fretboards. However, if you treat it with some CA glue, put plenty of CA glue on, and then sand it down, it's fantastic. It works a treat. I've got these pieces of Santos rosewood, Brazilian rosewood, which I cut and thinned for the classical guitar I was making as spares. And I think they'll make nice ribs for the guitar. I'm just thinking what to use on the back, and I've got some more of this alder, so I think I may use that on the back rather than trying to add yet another wood in. My colour matching with woods is not always brilliant, but I think that and that will go really well. So let's see what we need to do with this piece here. What I want the back probably about 8mm thick. Yeah, it's a hollow body guitar. I'm very conscious of the fact I don't want neck dive, so I don't want the body to be too light, but I do want a nice chamber inside the guitar, hopefully that'll allow it to ring out when it's played acoustically. So anyway, let me give myself a straight line to start off with. Interesting, I see they've got woodworm holes in that end, which is rather novel. So I'll cut that off on the bandsaw. Now, I wonder if anybody's considered the tonal properties of woodworm holes in a guitar. There's a thought, isn't it? One thing I have managed to do over the last few days is to sharpen all my tools. So there's nothing like using sharp tools. Now, I mentioned I'm doing this for the Jurgs Cup, and we're on the third iteration of that cup, and basically it's a challenge for amateur guitar builders to build a guitar, and each year Corey from Soul Good Guitars comes up with a theme, and the theme at the moment is to build a hollow body guitar. But as I say, that challenge ends in April, and there'll be a new challenge. I'll put all the details below. Just tag your Instagram posts or YouTube videos with JurgsCup, and we'll come along and have a look. Anyway, let's get on with this framing. Now, this will go up 205mm, so I've got to cut this piece down to that width. Now then, I'm going to have to be putting this wood in like this against the fence there, and you can see the fence is not high enough. Now then, I'm going to have to make an adjustment. I added this piece of wood to stop thin pieces of wood sliding underneath the fence, and it does the job beautifully, but I need a slightly higher fence to cope with these pieces that I'm going to saw into halves. They're sawing down the middle. So let's do that. Okay, so I've made it 160mm high, and I've just screwed it on. I've had to put some cardboard shims just behind it at the top, just to ensure that it's square. Aha, okay, so I've got my fence absolutely square, but in actual fact the blade isn't. That leans backwards as well. So, okay, let's see if there's any adjustment I can make. Gosh, now with the rain pouring down outside, I've had a look underneath, and basically the blade runs between ceramic sort of supports. Now they shouldn't touch the blade, and the only way I could get this blade to be square is if I push one of them against the blade, and I don't think that's going to work. So what I think I'm going to have to do is adjust my new fence to the slope of this blade. This is a craft standard bandsaw, and so I suppose the tolerances aren't so good as if it was a professional machine. There you go. Let's work with what we've got. In a normal run of things, that sort of angle wouldn't make any difference really to a cut. It's so slight, but when I'm cutting through, well, 200mm of wood, it is going to make a difference. One of the most useful modifications I made on this bandsaw, apart from that on the end there that stops me bashing myself on a sharp edge, is this little adjustable scale here. So if I loosen this off like so, I can adjust the 0 point to get it dead on 0, like so, and that just needs to move along a bit. Because I do use this scale all the time when I'm cutting wood. And this is just a sticky back metal ruler which I've stuck onto a piece of aluminium that slides back and forth in the groove there. It's a pity Axminster don't allow you to move the ruler that's embedded in the arm here, because it would make life so much easier. Anyway, I've done that. I'm going to have a quick break for a cup of tea now. Okay, back from a cup of tea, and I'm going to slice this down the middle now. It's 27mm wide, so 13.5 is the halfway mark. So I've set this fence to 13, and that should allow for a millimetre for the curve of the blade. Hopefully they should be equal halves. There we go. It's rather nice, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. Okay, well, they're pretty equal. They'll have to be thicknessed, but that's not bad, not a bad cut. Well, this has been a really great first session back in the workshop, and I've got some stuff done, and I'm pleased that the pieces that I cut 4 months ago actually haven't bowed. They've stayed pretty flat, which is good news for me. I've got the backs now, I've got the ribs, need to sort out the neck and the fretboards and the headstock. Plenty to do, so I hope you'll stay with me with this build. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, stay safe. Cheers.